and pick his brain. So first and foremost, Comm, as always, greatly appreciate you taking the time. I know it's never easy to do off of a loss, so a lot of respect from me for you doing that. But I'm gonna kind
He's
of
still
start off with
smiling.
more of a with an overarching kind of conversation of, it's the first week, big plays in the RLCS. How you feeling overall? Like, how are things going for you?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like you said, it's kind of hard to come on after a loss, but I'm not taking the loss that hard. It felt like as a new roster, it feels like we were almost there. Like it felt like we outplayed them for the first 4 minutes,
Yes.
and then we just would lose in the last minute of the game. So it's kind of it's not, or it's pretty easy to not get mad about it. Not get upset over it because we have time. We have plenty more weeks ahead of us, way more time to practice together. Um, and I think we'll probably do a lot better in the future.
No, I think that we saw growth. We were just talking about it. I'm not sure how quickly you were in the call and if you were able to hear us, but we were talking about it just a moment ago, saying, it felt like yesterday started off a little bit slow and really coming into a hot PK into NRG is a tough way to start off as a new
Yeah.
roster. Going in, period, is rough. But as you got towards the end of that NRG matchup, it started feeling like things started clicking, and you guys carried that over into the BOSF match and just kind of hit on all cylinders from
Yeah.
there. Coming into today, it didn't feel like we had that slow start. It felt like you guys were out there immediately. Our first opening goals were pass plays, quick ones across the line, finding each other on the opposite sides. There was also a lot of plays that I was commending you for using those fakes. Again, you're utilizing them a ton. I talked about it like 3 times. I'm going to say it again just to annoy the chat. But the ones coming off the sidewall, fake the sidewall, jump down, then fake the touch to then soft touch into Gimmick. Gimmick gets a shot on target. Unfortunately, the third man, after you baited 2 out, does end up making the diving save to save that ball away. But you're creating a lot of opportunities. How does that feel for you? I mean, obviously, I think that you feel pretty good. You said so, and you're smiling coming in off the loss, so that's awesome. But how do you feel knowing that the team is performing like that coming into today, especially coming off of what could have been considered yesterday to be a very rough start? You guys could have taken that very hard, and it doesn't seem like you did.
I think that's definitely a very important thing, especially in tournaments like this where it's across multiple days. I think it's important to be able to bounce back, not get in your own head and get upset over losses. I feel like we don't really like whenever we lose a series, we just kind of drop it. We just get to the next series. We don't let it affect our mental or anything. We just get straight into it. Um, and as for like as you're mentioning with like the fakes and whatnot, I'm enjoying playing with them because I am able to do that. I like being able to take the game into my control, be able to do what I want to do, um, and to be able to do that against these guys is really nice.
I mean, from my aspect, I mean, it's really reassuring. Obviously, Gimmick and Torment, a long-standing duo, people you look up to, and the fact that like my initial concerns is, I know Comm's very talented. He's a really good player. I've seen it throughout his entire career. How is that going to translate in? Are they going to enable him to do that, or is it going to just be like, well, he's just here to fill in the slot? And like the fact that you've been able to initiate your own play style and the team is transforming to that as well, I think is really, really exciting because I think, like you said, it's week one where it's very early on. We're just getting started, but you can already see a different version one, which I think excites us as fans of being able to watch you guys play. Tom, ultimately, like I'll admit it candidly, like I'm a huge fan of what you've been doing. I think not only personality wise, what you're doing with communications. But I guess from your perspective, what's it been like? I mean, this has obviously got to be a big situation for you where you're coming in and getting to talk with Fireburner and all that kind of stuff. But from your perspective, I mean, you're now playing against the big dogs, Energy, and all the other ones. Are they really that scary? Like, do you also feel that same thing? I mean, you've competed against them in the past, but like when it's RLCS, money on the line. I mean, you've been to DreamHacks and stuff, but like, is it really that much of a difference in that feeling? Like, is that gravity definitely there as well for you?
I think more so, or less so now, but I think more back maybe like a year ago or so, where I'd run into them in like DreamHack qualifiers like that.
Mhm.
There's a whole lot more pressure when you queue into G2 in one of those and you've never played them before, and you're like, okay, let's see what this is about, and then you get absolutely smacked. Um, but now there's a whole lot less pressure now that I'm more accustomed to it. Because also when I mean, when you scrim against them too, like many times a week, you kind of get used to it. It's less of a big deal, I feel.
Nice. I'm gonna completely throw a wrench in everything and just ask one food question, of course, because I absolutely have to. And this is one I firmly stand behind. So I'm gonna make a statement, and then you let me know if you agree.
Okay.
Pineapple belongs on pizza.
No.
Period! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! I can't win with this guy. I can't.
No.
I'm just okay. I'm out. Lawler, continue. I'm at a loss.
I have no arguments about pineapple on pizza. It can be on there if it wants. It's not my go-to, but I'll eat it. I mean, I'm gonna eat any pizza at this point, so I'm not gonna complain.
I mean, like I try pineapple on pizza, but it's just not for me. Like it's not like awful, but I just like it more without. There's worse things
fair,
put on
man.
pizza, I think, but it's not good.
I mean, anchovies is a pizza topping. I mean, that's obviously a worse option than pineapple.
Yeah.
Very much so. Comm, I mean, okay, we got the first week out of the way. A lot of stuff coming up. We got a big break in between. We get to see you on the next time for the grid, right? It's not until like December. So, in the meantime, it's gonna be a bit. You guys got regionals obviously in between and some other stuff coming up. What's the plan for you? What's the game plan? How are you gonna focus? Is it still just focusing on scrims? Anything unique? Maybe you're gonna stream a little bit, kind of pushing that envelope as much as I can. I'm sure your
Yeah.
org would really appreciate that. But what's the plan, man? No pressure. No pressure.
All the pressure,
Definitely
start
in the
streaming.
next month, I'm gonna start streaming more. Absolutely. But more so, I want to not only just scrim, but I also kind of want to do more like replay analysis just by myself to be able to figure out how I can fit better into the team. Figure out against individual teams as well, because a lot of different teams that we play against, like there's like they're unique, but at the same time there's only like 2 or 3, I'd say, different like play styles. You can kind of group teams together.
Right.
So I feel like if you can just watch and learn one of those teams and you can kind of figure out how they play, I think you can do a lot better against a lot of other teams as well. So I'm probably going to just spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting because me and Lawler talked about this yesterday, and I brought it up on stream where I was kind of talking about NRG and some of the things they do and things that looked like we were kind of close to doing ourselves or things that we could bring
Yeah.
into our repertoire. So it's interesting to hear you say that you want to do it in that manner, not just from your own perspective, but watching the other teams, being able to group them. Does it go a step further than that? Do you just look at it from a team basis, or for like us as casters, we have to look at it as a team basis all the time, but we pick out individual players? Where the last time AJ ran into this team when AXB was on it, was a monster. He was unstoppable. Basically, AJ ran through us in semifinals in week 9. So are there things like that you also look to say, hey, this one individual, I need to know this guy going into this matchup. He's the one that I need to deal with. Or do you, as a player, try to really just focus on it as a team rather than the individuals that are on that team?
Absolutely focus on it on individuals. Because there's a lot of players that are like mechanical players, like AJ. To where you have to kind of know what they're gonna do. Like when AJ gets the ball in the air, you need to not have him put the ball in your net. Like you have to have somebody challenge, somebody force it high or something like that. Then you got to know that there's players that demo a lot, so you got to know a lot of the time they'll just like leave the ball and go for a demo, and you have to be ready for that.
So you
So
dodge
you
AJ
kinda
a
have to
couple
look.
times in there.
Yeah. You kind of have to look for like individuals as well, because different individuals definitely have different tendencies, and if you pick up on those, you can get like a lot of free goals or a lot of free possessions if you know what's gonna come.
Well, Com, always a pleasure, man. I got one really fast question. I just need a one-word answer. There's a lot of people in the 1v1 scene that are a bully, a nuisance. I think AJ's up there. You got players like Arsenal and stuff like that. Is there one player for you that you just, every time you go in that 1v1, you're like, shoot, I don't want to play this?
Probably first killer. I just don't like playing against him, to be honest.
That's
I feel
a
like
very, very
every ball
fair
just ends
answer,
up in my
man.
net.
Fair enough, man. Well, Calm, as always, we appreciate you taking the time after a tough loss today. Obviously, coming in, still showing the smile, which we greatly appreciate, man. But as always, the floor is yours. Shoot out your socials, and we'll bid you farewell.
All right, twitch.tv/CommRL. I stream there sometimes, and then there's twitter.com/RL_com.
Oh man, you got that one so much quicker today.
Oh yeah, I've been studying.
Hey, Calm, we appreciate you taking the time, man. Have a good rest of your day.
Absolutely, you too.